Hello everyone, welcome back. I am so excited to show you. I forgot to record yesterday, but my dad came over and helped me put together some pots with posts so that I can put some outdoor patio lights up, and I'm just so excited. So my dad had to help me mix the concrete for them, and that's what I'm gonna show you today. And I'm gonna take a little bit of time to put some soil in them. But while I'm out here, I'm gonna show you all the things that I have growing, and I'm so excited. Everything is starting to pop up. And a funny story, my daughter she's 7, and she has this little gardening bag, and she's so excited to be just like mom and plant in the garden. And she left her bag outside. I didn't know it was behind the garden beds in the back. And she had, I think, like 6 or 8 packets of seeds in them. So I did go ahead and take the time to just put all of the seeds in the garden, because why not? So we've got green beans. I'll walk out here and I'll show you. We've got green beans. We've got some lettuce. We've got, oh goodness, quite a few different things out here that were in her bag that we ended up putting into either little seedling pots or into my raised beds here. Sorry for the garbage bag. I'll show you what I'm using that for in a second. But she had some snap peas in, so we plugged those in here. And then in the other bed where the bags are sitting, we plugged in some cucumbers. I don't see any sprouting just yet, because that looks like a weed. That looks like a weed and not a cucumber, so I'm gonna just pull that. We've got some mustard greens in here. I'm not sure. Some of them look okay, some of them look kind of rough, so I might take those out. But these are the sugar snap peas that she had in her bag. She had cucumbers. She also had some zucchini and some early white bush scallop squash. So we've got those all potted up. They're just sitting here. I'm gonna put them in the sun now that it's warm enough for seeds to go in the ground here. We are edging that Mother's Day weekend where we start planting. But let me take you out back here and I'll show you what else we had going before, and then I'll show you where we plugged in the seeds that she left out here in the back garden. So here you can see some things popping up. We've got red onions. This is the lettuce. So just some romaine type lettuce, and we've got those plugged in here. Not seeing anything sprouted just yet. I do have some Better Boy tomatoes plugged in, 4 of them in total. I've got some homegrown kale. The purple kale looks better than the green kale. We'll see how the green kale does. If they don't do good, I'll just put some more seeds in the ground and we'll get some kale. This bed, these are the cauliflower and green onions that you guys helped me put in. We've got some alyssum and some marigolds to help offset our pest pressure that we get. And then our blackberry bush is growing nice and strong back there. And then this bed, we've got broccoli. These are broccoli, some purple cabbage or red cabbage, more onions, more marigolds and alyssum, and then our raspberries that are literally going to take over this bed. Every time I come out here, there is another little seedling popping up. So, or I guess, I don't know, a sucker? Is that what they're called for raspberries? These raspberries are not very friendly. They've got little pokies all the way up, little thorns all the way up their branches. So with those, you have to be very cautious. But she had green beans in her little bag that she had out here as well. And so we just plugged those into the ground, and we're gonna see how they come up. I see one that's starting to pop up here. I'll show you. So this one looks like it got slightly uncovered. I'll put a little bit of dirt over that. But we put green beans here. These are a bush variety of stringless green bean pods. So we're excited about those. I plugged in probably about 20 seeds in the space that I have over here, which is probably way too many. So we'll see which ones look the best or which ones actually come up. And we'll have some green beans here in, let's see, how many days does it say? 50 to 65 days. So in a couple months from now, we'll have some green beans. All right, so the reason we came outside, I will show you guys the pots that my dad and I put together yesterday with the posts. Just trying to make our back patio a little bit friendly. We've got our indoor kitties outside. They love to adventure. So that's Thunder. And then Dio is over here with my sad looking ranunculus right now. They took a few little chilly nights, so we'll see if they recover. But that's Dio adventuring around. Okay, now the true reason why we are outside, and I am so excited to show you these. Let's see if I can give you a good view. So these are our giant pots from Costco. They were $16.99 a piece. I love them so much. And then our 8-foot posts that I plan to grow tomatoes up. So we had to put some post setting concrete in here. I'm going to show you kind of a funny. All of them are straight except for this one. So I think I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to hang a pot, like a hook with a pot. So it kind of offsets that it looks so bent towards the sun. Outside of that, I've got 4 posts and pots. So I'm going to grow tomatoes and peppers in those because I'm going to flip my camera around so you can see this. But these are all of my seedling babies that I've got going. And I have about 50 tomatoes inside still that I need to start bringing out. So got lots of things growing. Can't wait to get them in the ground or in a pot and see what we get. So I will put my camera up here and we will get started on today's project. Well, now that I've got my phone set up, you can definitely tell how angled that pot is. So I'm gonna flip it around and get started on, I'm gonna put a plastic layer. I know plastic's not great, but I'm gonna put a plastic layer between the concrete and the soil so that the concrete doesn't pull all the moisture out of the soil. But before I do that, I'm gonna try to turn this around. There's 100 pounds of concrete in here, so we'll see. So this is our little plastic barrier between the concrete, and we're gonna get some compost in here, and then I've got vermiculite, perlite, and some peat moss that I'm gonna mix in here so that the soil isn't so compact in the pot. Again, my favorite kind of compost, New Plant Life compost manure. It is fantastic. My plants love it. All right, so some perlite, a little bit of vermiculite, and then this is our sphagnum peat moss that I use, and this block is so hard. So bear with me as I break it apart to get some in here. So when I first started out here in our house, we did a lot of container gardening just out on the back patio. There was a small existing garden, but it had all sorts of things in it, like lily of the valley. There were some random perennials that I'm not even sure what they are at this point. So I grew what I could back there. So I had some tomatoes and peppers, and I grew pumpkins and a couple other things. And our neighbor's tree fell on my garden, so I lost almost everything in a storm that we had. So my husband actually helped build my 4 raised garden beds and set up the irrigation in the back. And we've been gardening in those beds for, is it 3 years at this point? I think this is our 3rd season growing in the garden beds. And I just add compost each year, just to give some fresh nutrients to the ground and making sure that everything is going well. But now I do a mix of potted, I have my raised beds in the back. I have these 2 raised beds on the patio, and now I'm doing these pots, and I'll probably have a couple other pots, but I'm most excited because I ordered myself a green stock, and it should be here on Thursday, and I just cannot wait to get it and start growing things in it. I'm gonna do a mix of flowers and herbs, and maybe I wanna try to find some patio varieties of tomatoes. I kind of have an obsession with tomatoes, so if you haven't caught that yet, you will after you watch a few more of my videos. now that we've got all the soil mixed in, I'm gonna get this soil wet, and then I am going to add a few flowers. My tomatoes that I have are not quite ready to go in here yet, but I do plan to put a tomato in here. And I'm excited because this pole is 8 feet tall, so I think I can put an indeterminate tomato in here. I haven't quite decided if I'm gonna do a cherry tomato plant here or not. So I still have to figure that out, but I do know the plants that I'm going to put in here that will help deter mosquitoes and the pesky things that like to bug us when we're sitting out here. Okay, well that water soaks in there. I'm trying to do a red, white, and blue theme. So I've got white petunias, I think they're more pink, but I wanted them to be, they're a deeper pink, so a little bit closer to red. Verbinia, geranium. I do think I might save the geranium for the hanging pot that I do at the top. So we'll see on that. These are lobelia. They're fun little filler. Some Dusty Miller for the white. Salvia, red salvia. And I'm not gonna say this right, but ageratum. I thought it was fun. It looks purpley blue. So we tried with the blue, but I think the lobella is probably the closest to blue that we're going to get. So this looks a little more blue and this is more purpley, but I thought those flowers were just so fun. So I had to grab them. And my last little thing for this pot is some lemon balm. And I'm gonna get this guy in here first because he has been thirsty, and this is one I did not grow from seed. So it's mostly grown in peat moss, and it is a thirsty fellow. The roots are starting to get root bound, so I'm going to put him in first. And you can see how the roots are pretty tight in here. So I'm gonna just gently loosen those up, and then I will give him some good space in the pot, and hopefully we get a nice full lemon balm plant. So I always open it up just like that so the roots go down and out. I have to figure out where I put my shovel. There it is. right, so I think this is it for now. I'm gonna save some space, a good amount of space on that side for a tomato or pepper plant. And then once I get that ready to go, I will take you guys along how I trellis it up the pole. And then I will bring you back along when I do the flower pots that will hang off the side. And I'll show you the finished project for all 4 of my pots. I'm so excited. If you have any fun ideas for a hanging pot, I'll put this up here so you can see. So my pole is 8 feet tall. So I've got quite a bit of growing space vertically. That's why I want to do a tomato plant, and that's why I think I'm going to do an indeterminate tomato, which I think will likely be my black strawberry tomato that I got from Baker Creek. Actually, I think Baker Creek or Rare Seeds, one of the two, I can't remember. But I plan to do indeterminate tomatoes, I think, because my pole is so high. This is a plastic post, so it's not wood. The reason I did that is so that it holds up with the weather. Our weather fluctuates quite a bit here in Nebraska, so I'm hoping that will help these last for a long time. But I need to get a hook for our outdoor lights, our patio lights, and then a hook for our hanging plant on the opposing side for each of the pots. But if you have any ideas for the hanging pot, or if you have a recommendation on if I should do determinate or indeterminate, the pots width apart is about 30 inches apart. Depth wise, I've got about 1.5 feet. So I think an indeterminate tomato would be okay, but if you think differently, let me know. Thanks for coming along. See you guys later. God bless.